That's 672-5763. Now, your host for Public Pulse, Floyd Whiting.
Good morning and welcome to Public Pulse. Now, in a continued effort to improve on the student experience and set a clear path to graduation, this year the University of Wyoming developed the program Saddle Up. This program acted as a week-long college preparation camp, and it happened from August 14th to August 19th. And from the University of Wyoming to talk about Saddle Up and all things UW, this morning I am joined by the Director of Institutional Communications at the University, Chad Baldwin. Good morning, Chad.
Morning, Floyd.
How are you guys doing down there?
Boy, it's great. Semester's off to a good start, and the weather's beautiful.
That's fantastic. Up here, it's getting a little cooler. It's not as hot as it has been. I'm still looking forward to some rain that they told me was going to show up, but we just got sprinkles. How about you guys?
Well, a couple weeks ago we had a major deluge here that flooded basements and things,
Wow.
like almost 3 inches in 2 hours. But so we've actually we haven't had any much since then, but that pretty much took care of us for the month.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Now, the Saddle Up program recently concluded. Can you tell us what this program involves?
Yeah. So all of our new incoming freshmen and there were exceptions. For instance, students who were showing at state fair and that kind of stuff were able to get exceptions. But it's for all of our new full-time freshmen. It was a week-long orientation program where they actually took a class, got a college credit out of it, but did a lot of socializing and other activities, basically trying to get them ready for the rigors of college. We know that even for some of the top students, college is quite a change from high school, and not everybody's prepared for it. And so this is an effort to make sure everybody's ready to roll. And we're rolling now because the classes then started on Monday, and we've got a really good, strong freshman class, and excited for the new year.
Now, is Saddle Up required, or have they talked about making it a required class?
It is required, in fact. Yeah, and with those exceptions that I told you about. There are some students who just couldn't do it. And so we're working around that. But we had over 1,300 students take part, and it was a big success.
Wow, that is a lot of participation. I'd love to hear that. Have you guys received any feedback from the students on how they feel about this new program?
That's something the organizers are doing for sure. As the first time we've done it, lots of things can be learned. And so they sought input, and I am sure we'll be making some adjustments based upon that input. I think from what I hear, there were some things here and there. Maybe it was, we tried to pack maybe too much into the week, perhaps. But overall, I think, the students, from what I can tell, was a pretty positive response.
What are some of the things that they had to do as part of Saddle Up?
We also, the one thing I told you, they actually did have a class. They had to go to a classroom and take notes and take a test and that kind of stuff. They did group the students according to their majors. So, like the engineering students, they actually made race cars and raced them in teams against each other, for example. They did things in the maker spaces we have on campus. They had a motivational speaker talk to them. Going around to see where the classes were going to be. So touring campus to make sure they're familiar with all the facilities. And things in the Union and a half-acre recreation center, and so went over to the football stadium, had a big picture, and had kind of a pep rally there. So it was just a whole bunch of things.
Now this program is going to be, as you said, a requirement for the first-year student. I would ask, is this even for those non-traditional students who may be a little bit longer in the tooth?
Well, we're saying first-time freshmen. So I mean, if you were, if you'd been to college before and maybe didn't fit more in the sophomore category or something, it wasn't required. But for first-time freshmen. It's everybody. We do have some programs in place for transfer students as well to help them in the transition. But this really does so. It just focuses on people who hadn't been to college before, kind of regardless of what age.
And I think it's absolutely great because the university is pretty large, and there's a lot of buildings down there, and you got to kind of know where things are. Where do I go to make sure that my immunizations are good? Where do I need to go to make sure that my funding is all good? Who do I have to talk to? There's a lot of questions, isn't there?
Oh yeah, you got to get your ID card. You got to do. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. It can be a little daunting for. Generally, you just one of those things. You have a kind of a roadmap, and you just check things off, and you get things done. But when you look at the whole thing coming in, it can be a little daunting. Sure.
Is it good to see the kids out there on the campus again?
Oh man, yeah. We're things are hopping. Lots of people on campus. It's busy and lots of activities. It's just really great to see, for sure.
I can remember those first days. It was like a feeling of excitement. The possibilities that lay out ahead of you, especially if you're coming from a small rural Wyoming town and now you're in the big city of Laramie and going to the university. It can be quite a cultural change, can't it?
It can, and we recognize that. The one thing we do try to remind people is that, while it might kind of feel that way, we're still a pretty small school, and so you really we combine. It's a real sweet spot for us where we're big enough that we've got world-class facilities and professors and opportunities, but we are small enough that even for people who come from really small towns, there is some culture shock, but it's not like you might experience at a great big state school in a big urban area.
Yeah. And kind of got that vibe when I moved down there in 2004 and started to attend. Now, the University of Wyoming College of Law student and Northern Arapaho member Allison White Eagle Sounding Sides is working with law professor Daryl Jackson and UW Art Museum director Nicole Crawford to bring home from the British Museum a headdress that belonged to her great-great-grandfather, Northern Arapaho leader Chief Yellowcalf. Chad, this is an interesting story. How did the headdress end up in the British Museum?
Well, from what we can tell and what the researchers have said, and as you mentioned, Allison White Eagle Sounding Sides is a law student from the reservation, Wind River, who's really looked into it, talked to some of the tribal elders. It looks like there was a silent movie that was filmed in the early 1920s, and there were Northern Arapaho people who were in that movie, and they think that Chief Yellowcalf was one of those people in it, and that it probably was taken from him in that process. Now, exactly how it ended up in London, I have no idea. There's some indication that there was maybe a guy actually from Australia who came into possession of it, and he donated it to the museum there. But the bottom line is, over 100 years been not been where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And so this is a tremendous story of culture and tradition and how that the university can kind of help sometimes in preserving that tradition and culture.
And how did we discover it was there?
Well, it is. I think that the tribal folks, including Allison, were aware of it because it once was on display there. Now it's kind of in a storage area in England, but so you can go online and you can see it. So it's part of their list of artifacts that they have. But nobody from the reservation actually seen it in person for over 100 years.
Wow, that's tremendous that she got it found. Is she facing a lot of issues trying to get it home?
Well, the repatriation of artifacts is a pretty big deal worldwide. You read about things with some regularity, for instance, in where you have different European nations that were, had a colonial presence in Africa, and have a lot of things in there that they're returning things to the African countries and people that they've had for a long time. This is a similar sort of thing, so it isn't an easy thing to do. But we have a couple of experts here at UW on this, and that's Daryl Jackson and Nicole Crawford, who this is their area of expertise, and so it's just so awesome that we've got that here. So if anybody can help navigate this and get it done, I think these folks can do it.
Absolutely. I'm really hoping that it's not a drawn-out legal battle on any level, and that Allison can get that home. And that's what she wants to do, right? She basically wants to take it back to the reservation, back to where it belongs. Yeah,
the Northern Arapaho tribe has done a really incredible job in recent years of successful in doing this sort of thing. Not necessarily from overseas, but from other parts of the United States, where there were things that were taken, 100+ years ago from their people. And Jordan Dresser, who's the chairman of the Northern Arapaho Business Council, he's also a UW graduate, has really led a lot of that effort. And we're talking not only artifacts, but also actually the human remains. People. There were children who were at who were sent away to Carlisle Indian School and died there as young kids. Recently, they were able to get those remains back to where they belong on the reservation. Very, very touching story that there's a documentary that was done about it.
Wow. And it's so important to make sure that these things get back to where they belong. I wish her all the best in the effort, and she's got a great team to help her get there. When we return, we're going to continue with our University of Wyoming. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM, Sheridan.
At Eliason Financial, money management isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about dreams and opportunities, and more importantly, family. We'll take time to get to know you. Then we'll develop a unique wealth management plan that works hard, just like you. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online or call 307-672-3010. Securities offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
Branded with quality, Shipton's Big R.
Whether you're in the saddle or out on the town, take advantage of this special offer from Shipton's Big R. Receive a $30 gift card with your purchase of $200 of Ariat. Ariat Western Apparel is expertly constructed. From the inside out, you'll know they're the right jeans, shirts, and boots for you the moment you try them on. Shipton's Big R offers the largest and most complete selection of Ariat with a fit and finish for every body. And for a limited time, you'll receive that $30 gift card with your $200 Ariat purchase. Register to win a Dierks Bentley concert package with premium tickets plus Ariat boots, jeans, and shirts for two. Not to mention dinner and a night's stay at the Northern Hotel in Billings. That offer is available at Shipton's Big R on Sugarland Drive in Sheridan.
Branded with quality, Shipton's Big R.
Did your late aunt leave you with her home in her will and all 30 cats that have been living there for years? And now you don't know what to do with the cat house? Wyo Renovation can take it off your hands. The house, not the cats. No matter how bad it may be or what smells may be emanating from it, Wyo Renovation will come out, take a look, and make you an offer. Face it, you're not going to sell it any other way. Contact Wyo Renovation today. Find them on Facebook or at wyorenovation.com.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Who's thinking about that final camping trip or drive through the mountains over Labor Day? Hi, this is Matt with Homestar, and we're back with our third gas card sweepstakes. 3 lucky winners will each win a $100 gas card from Farmers Co-op, perfect for Labor Day weekend. Just go to the contest page on sharedmedia.com and enter every day through August 31st. Remember, we'll have 3 winners, each winning a $100 gas card. Good luck from all of us at Homestar Mortgage, the easiest way home. We're locally operated right here in Sheridan, located at 30 Grinnell Plaza.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse, brought to you by our friends out there at Eliason Financial. I'm Floyd Whiting. This morning I am joined by the Director of Institutional Communications at the University of Wyoming, Mr. Chad Baldwin. Now, recently a team of University of Wyoming students was the first from Wyoming to be selected and to participate in NASA's 2022 Micro-G Neutral Buoyancy Experiment Design Team, or NEXT Engineering Design Challenge. Chad, that's a lot to say. What is the challenge?
Innovative design for the different tools that are used in space. So, it's something to do with space exploration. They're always looking for good ideas. And so this is a competition that university students can get into, and University of Wyoming was there, and they created this, it's called the Cowboy Claw, which is a lunar reusable surface anchoring device. And it got these legs or arms, depends on how you describe it, that can stick on like rocks. And so they created this, entered it, and then it was actually tested by NASA in their underwater buoyancy laboratory at the Johnson Space Center. And there's a video of this thing sticking on a rock down there, and it's really cool that
really
they're able
is.
to do this. Yeah,
That's absolutely amazing. What was the overall purpose of the Cowboy Claw? What was the need that it was supposed to fill?
Well, so the you need sometimes to be able to, on a variety of surfaces, and this is on the moon. It's a holding force. It's something that so stuff won't just fly off, right?
Ah, okay.
And it's got the dexterity and versatility of the human hand, where it's an anchoring thing for devices that are used in space exploration.
That's absolutely fascinating, and something that when we think about space exploration or the exploration of possibly other planets, we don't really tend to think about the problems that our astronauts would face when trying to, say, construct something or drill into something. But because of the lack of gravity, that object that they're trying to work on could basically jump or float away. Yes, indeed. Yep. When we're talking about differences in gravitational forces, for sure. That's amazing that they just they took on this challenge. How did it perform? Well, it looked pretty good to me. You see the video of it. I'm trying to see here if they've actually done sort of an assessment, but I think it was deemed a pretty big success. That's amazing. Do we know how many other colleges decided to go ahead and participate in this challenge? Oh, let's see here. It was quite a few, but I don't know the number. Yeah, so there was quite a few, but did they all? Do you know if they all got the same problem to overcome? There were 3 different scenarios they could do, and I don't know the other 2, but it's just so you know, this is on the Artemis is NASA's lunar exploration program that just launched, if I'm not mistaken, and so it's tied in with Artemis, really? Which is so it's here. I guess I'm looking here. There were 3 challenges. One was, I don't know if I know what these mean exactly, but okay. One was to design an EVA sample size location calibration marker and an EVA sample bag and dispenser. Those were the other 2. Ours was the lunar reusable surface anchoring device. That is pretty cool. And again, problems that those of us here on our Blue Marble don't tend to think about that astronauts are going to be facing when they have to go out into something beyond. Absolutely amazing that they reach out to universities and these students who may have different ideas, think outside the box and really create something amazing. So the Cowboy Claw, I think that's...
And it was the Wyoming Space Wranglers was our official name of our team from the College of Engineering.
Well, I think that's a great name, especially for the problem that they had to solve, wrangling things in space. Now, something else that's going on down there at our university, a UW molecular biologist whose research on tardigrades, very small microscopic creatures, has included a project on the International Space Station, and he is now part of a new national institute that is going to explore how organisms survive extremely dry conditions for long periods of time. Chad, who is this molecular biologist?
Yeah, his name's Thomas Boothby. He's in the College of Agriculture, and he's a molecular biologist, and his specialty is these things called tardigrades, which are these little tiny things. They're less than a half a millimeter long, but they are these little critters that can survive just about anything. Completely dried out or being frozen to barely above absolute zero, or and it's heated to more than 300 degrees. Wow. This is crazy stuff. They can survive that, and so we're looking here at there's the whole space exploration angle, which is what do we do? What if we go to another planet and there's no water there? What do you do? So there's that sort of angle. Then there's the angle of there's some indication that maybe some parts of the world are going to get pretty dry, drying out more and more. So the National Science Foundation wants to study what is it that can. What lessons could we maybe learn from these tardigrades that we could apply to, say, plants or seeds or even human health, so that we could survive extremely dry conditions for long periods of time?
And just the curiosity itself. That is one of the most beautiful aspects of science. Someone with curiosity who basically looks at something and says, why or how can it do that? These little tardigrades, I believe they're also called water bears, correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Uh-huh.
When you look at these things underneath a microscope, they are a very alien-looking creature, but they are everywhere around us.
Yeah. And, that's what's so cool about this is this is an example of one of our faculty members who's one of the very best in the world at this. So he's part of this new national institute on this topic. It's called the Water and Life Interface Institute, and he's in there with people from the University of Wisconsin, Michigan State, Baylor. So we're right up there with some really top schools on a lot of fronts, and this is one of them.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the University of Wyoming has always had a very rich and diverse biology and science department. You can go down there and study just about anything. And I think it's absolutely fascinating that now that's being recognized nationally and by NASA and these other scientific institutions who are utilizing UW as a resource. I think it's just great to see. Chad, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and keeping us informed on the amazing things that are happening down there at our university. Thank you so much.
You betcha.
All right, when we come back, we're going to speak to the Sheridan County Library System. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE, 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
Financial, money management isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about dreams and opportunities, and more importantly, family. We'll take time to get to know you. Then we'll develop a unique wealth management plan that works hard, just like you. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online or call 307-672-3010. Securities offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
Where has the summer gone? School starts at the end of this month. Let Mandy Koltisko with Century 21 help you out with some of the shopping. She's sponsoring the Back to School Sweepstakes on Sheridan Media. It's your chance to win $250 in chamber bucks. You can buy clothing, merchandise, and supplies all from local retailers. Enter the Back to School Sweepstakes presented by Mandy Koltisko with Century 21 now and every day through August 25th at SheridanMedia.com.
With more than 30 years of providing excellent service to Sheridan area businesses, Parker Melander has the knowledge and expertise to help solve your bookkeeping problems, answer questions about IRS notices, and discuss your business concerns. Schedule a review of your financial records today, and we'll find solutions that work best for you. Ask about our exclusive fixed price agreement, one annual fee, unlimited phone calls, and meetings. Parker Melander, 1811 South Sheridan Avenue, Sheridan.
Sheridan Orthopedic Associates continues its over 50-year tradition of surgical excellence in Northeast Wyoming and Southern Montana with the addition of Dr. Jory Wasserberger, a Wyoming native, and fellowship trained at the Mayo Clinic in Orthopedic Sports Medicine. Dr. Wasserberger joins a team of highly rated surgeons providing spine, sports, hand, hip, knee, and shoulder surgery, joint replacement, and more, including emergency care 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit us at SheridanOrtho.com to learn more.
Mandy Koltiska from Century 21 BHJ Realty brings you this Pet of the Week from the Dog and Cat Shelter. Meet Joey. This beautiful dog enjoys car rides, swimming, long walks, and playing fetch. Wouldn't do well in a ranch environment, though, as she can be a troublemaker with livestock. Reginald the Handsome is always in need of company, whether it comes in a human shape or a furry one. If you think your home is ready for the feline embodiment of sunshine, come and meet Reginald today.
Chris Hayden from Hammer Chevrolet. Summer heat is here.
It certainly is, Bob. Is your vehicle's air conditioning system keeping you cool? If not, why wait until you and the family are hot and uncomfortable on vacation to have it serviced? Call Hammer Chevrolet today for an appointment. We have the latest in air conditioning service equipment, and our factory-trained technicians can get the interior of your vehicle cooled down quickly.
Don't suffer in your car. Get your AC service today at Hammer Chevrolet, 107 East Alger. Online, hammerchevy.com.
Now's the time to start those projects you've been dreaming about. Excavation, landscaping, or home improvement. Wagner Ranch Services has the materials. Wagner Ranch Services carries many types of gravel, scoria, topsoil, and landscaping products. Check out Wagner's landscaping display, where you can view a variety of landscaping materials that can be picked up from the yard or delivered. Wagner Ranch Services, 13 Industrial Lane, 307-752-2787. Open Monday through Friday from 7 to 5.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse, brought to you by our friends out there at Eliason Financial. I'm Floyd Whiting. For the second part of our show this morning, I am joined by the director of the Sheridan County Library System, Cameron Duff. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning.
Now, we missed you last month, but it was great to see Zola.
Oh, yeah.
She's always so bubbly and happy, and she makes the library programming fun.
Yeah, she definitely does. She's a great addition to the library, and I'm so glad that she decided to run for that position in the children's department when Michelle retired. So she's done an excellent job.
And school's begun.
Yes, it has.
It's finally kicked off. I'm starting to see all the photos on Facebook. Everyone getting their pictures up of the kids on their first day. My daughter's been in college for, I think, since about the middle of summer. So she's getting ready, believe it or not, to wrap up her first semester at college.
Wow.
And but other kids are getting to kick off. If a student needs a study space for a test, or a few students might need a place to conduct a group project, I really can't think of any better space than at the library. Cameron, what do parents or students need to do to reserve a room up there as we approach it? Well, as we kick off our school year.
Yeah, so you do have to be over 16 to reserve one of the meeting rooms. And in some cases, it's a tutor or a parent who reserves it, and they just have to be present with them in the room. And it's because of the liability factor. If they're going to damage something, we can't go after anyone who's a child, and nor do we want to, but we need an adult that's going to be responsible for that. So most times students will just grab a corner, pull chairs together, and that's fine. They can be anywhere in the building doing that. But if you're wanting a private room, then it does require a signature saying that you agree to the policies, and some of the statements that are in there is just, it's simple as, cleaning up after yourself, but you can't have food in there. You can't have different things that could damage the room. So we don't want to be overbearing with those types of things, but we do have to acknowledge that it should be an adult that signs for those.
Absolutely. I think that's completely fair as well. And having an adult in the room is going to help you anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
But we do have a lot of tutors that come in and do one-on-ones with students, and so they'll reserve some of those rooms.
Do you guys have like some sort of message board that tutors can put their services or their phone number on?
So we don't have the paper board anymore. We have a digital screen at the entrance of the library, and so we'll do a JPEG picture of any flyer and then just put it up on the screen. It's makes it a little different than the other, but we had too many flyers coming in.
The board is getting too full.
And yeah, some will do just the 8x10s, but when you get into those big posters, it takes up the whole thing. We just couldn't do it. And so we might have 20 rotating on that TV, and it sounds great, except you have to stand there a while to see all of them. So if there is one that someone's wanting, saying, hey, I want more information on this, we can pull the flash drive from there and print off that individual flyer for them. But we're just trying to clean up some of the clutter of paper. And unfortunately, if you have everyone who really wants to post something, put it up there, we would need an entire wall of the library just to do it. So, we're trying to be fair with it, but at the same time, we do not post things that are for profit. So if you're selling a product or anything or a commercial, you have to pay to attend something that's not for a fundraiser, then we usually don't post those things.
Which I think is also very, very fair. Now, how many study rooms do we have, and what do each of those rooms offer?
So we have 3 official study rooms, meeting spaces. One holds about 16, the other 10 to 12, and the last one 4. It's mostly just a table and chairs. We do have the ability to bring in a TV screen if you were going to project something from your laptop or something that is more digital content. But for the most part, it's just a room.
Yeah.
So we don't offer a whole lot with them. The last room we have is the inner circle. It holds about 70, and it's more for... you can have a meeting there, but it's usually someone who's doing a presentation or something that goes beyond that 16-seat capacity. That's the one that's going to be a little bit of a challenge this fall and into the winter months. It's going to be going under renovation. So we're going to be changing the layout of it. I want to call it a pit, but it's steps that go down into that lower area, and so there's some seating in there, but it's not conducive for tables and chairs. And so the new layout will allow more tables and chairs, increase capacity a bit more. We're removing the pull-down projector screen and the big projector. Those are really expensive. We're putting up digital screens. So you're still going to be able to tap your laptop in there and project anything that you want from your computer. It's just done in a digital fashion. We found over the years those projectors can put out a lot of heat. They might be $5,000-$6,000 to purchase, and then it could be hundreds of dollars for a new bulb on those. And so this new way brings us into modern technology, but allows a little bit more options for people who are wanting to project. And then we'll have 3 screens up there. So it doesn't really matter where you're seated in the room. You will be able to see it. So you're not having to look around someone's head just to see what's going on straight in front of you. You can look at angles as well.
You know, it's fascinating to think that these new digital screens are actually going to end up saving you money in the long run.
It's amazing. Buying the 3 of them will probably be about a third the cost of putting in a whole new projection system. So it's ironic, those were the technology 20, 30 years ago that everyone in libraries went to, and it's great, but there's a downside if you have to maintain them.
Yeah, and those digital screens and boards, I can remember this last time I was in college, that's all they had.
Yeah.
It was all like digital whiteboard, and they were up there with like a little stylus type of pen.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating to me how quickly everything had changed from the first time I was in college to now. And will those have that type of whiteboard type capability?
So the inner circle probably will not, because of the way we have to do. It's a concrete cinder block room, and so architects have to do a lot of work to make sure that the sound's working well in there. They'll have to put in some soundboards so that those with hearing impairments, they might be able to use their Bluetooth hearing aid and tap into our sound. So it makes it a little more difficult to put in a whiteboard in there. But at the same time, even though the meeting rooms upstairs are not part of the remodel, we're thinking about putting in newer whiteboards. 2 of them have whiteboards right now, and if you have used them, they're losing their effectiveness. It's harder and harder to go ahead and clean them off. So, we'll update some of those, and they may also have screens added to them that you could just go ahead and plug in your laptop as well. So, officially not being remodeled, but we might be upgrading some of the tech in that side.
Now, I had a buddy, even just yesterday, he put up online that the whiteboard may be the greatest invention of mankind in the past 20 years.
Even if you're not doing it for an official reasons, it's just fun as a kid sometimes to draw and doodle around.
I usually had a whiteboard in the house. And the look on my daughter's face when I started walking over to the whiteboard, I would tell her, all right, now pay attention because I'm going to show you how this, and she would just roll her eyes. Oh, we're going to be here for a half hour.
and that's the thing. Some of the kids, if they listen to this, us talking right now, they're going, a whiteboard? Why are we going whiteboard? Everything has to be digital. And why not use an iPad and all that? And it's going, there's still some valid reasons that you want it. I'm not putting in a chalkboard, so I'm not going back to when I was in school.
No archaic technology here.
But there's some individuals in the community who've asked about it, and there's some valid reasons to go ahead and add that. So we can do both. And that's our goal. I'm just not sure we will be able to, in the inner circle, put in whiteboards just because the sound's a big problem in that room. And if we have to put in dampeners around, that takes up all the wall space.
Oh, yes, it does. I can tell you that from experience right here at the radio station. Dampeners take up a lot of walls.
Of room.
Now, for many kids, this might be the first year that they have to utilize their library for a project or research. And we know librarians are very busy. But if a student needs assistance, learning how to take full advantage of all the services that you guys provide, can they steal the librarian away for a little while and have them show them how to get things done?
Yeah, never assume that we're too busy. We may appear like we're doing something and you don't want to interrupt, but that's what we're there for. So it may be that we're helping someone else and we'll get right to you, but please do interrupt. Please do ask your question. We want to be able to help you because why struggle for a couple hours and then give up and say, oh, I just can't do this, when we might be able to show you a simple, easy way to access information, and that will serve you for years to come, not only for that one project, but in future projects. So it could be as simple as saying, how do you access some research databases? And I'm terrible of trying to figure out how to cite your source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a librarian and I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
And there are simple ways where you can pull up the article and it'll have a link there that says cite your source, and it'll do it for you. So I'm not saying that, we know everything, but we know how to find the information to help you. So please do ask your questions. We want to help you. And that would be the same if you're a college student. If you're out in Sheridan College, sometimes we have students go out there to the college library will help, and then vice versa. If a student from the college comes out to the public library, we're going to do our best to help. We may not have the exact same resources, but we're there to help the students, especially when they're doing their projects.
And when I was a student, the library was kind of a safe haven for research and getting projects done, writing a paper. I mean, you've got everything right there. Yeah. You've got individuals who want to help you. How often, and are you having students come in as a class from the elementary schools, maybe the junior high, just to basically show them, hey, this is your library and this is how we do stuff here?
We do that every year, and it depends on the teacher and the timing of it. Some will do it in the fall, some will do it in the spring, but there's classes that come down all the time and want to do it. It's a little harder if you're a little ways away, so they might have to bus you in. But the junior high especially, they'll have classes come down and show what the resources are. And then we'll also get the groups that come in just before school's out. And a lot of the teachers are trying to encourage the kids to participate in any reading activity over the summer. Keep your skills up. It makes it easier when you start in August and September into the new school year. So it's a two types of groups that come in. Some that are just saying, hey, what does the library have to offer? And others are actually doing projects and need access to it. Now, the interesting thing about schools and projects, you don't always have to be in the library to complete them. So people want to just say, hey, I found it on Google, here it is. The library has access to prime sources, primary resources that have been vetted. These are factual. It'll have maybe both sides of an issue, articles on a topic that you can go ahead and compare and contrast different viewpoints. Those can be accessed from home with a library card. And so we have a lot of teachers who will try to get their kids and their students the access to that library card so they can access the digital content. If you're under 16, we do have to go through a parent, and usually the teacher is asking the parent's permission and signing the form, and we're just issuing a digital card so they can access at home.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because a lot of kids don't have that resource to get down to the library and look something up today. And in today's day and age, the information that you find on Google, it's some fake information or false information is flagged to look like academia. And so it's great to hear that kids can go down there, they can look up the facts, and they can know, as you said, it's been vetted.
Yeah.
This has been looked at by researchers.
And if there is a bias to that information, it's going to tell you right out, this bias is in favor of XYZ, and this one is against this topic. And so that's the one thing about the vetted sources is it'll tell you right from the start which direction it's leaning.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember most about some of the projects I had to do in school is you had to choose a topic and then see both sides of an issue. And that's the best thing is if you already know one in favor and one against, it's been vetted that way, and you can go ahead and do that compare and contrast.
And a great resource for kids in speech and debate to be able to go down there and look at a counter argument to something that they've got to research on, and almost go in expecting. This is where they're going to draw their information.
And that's what the state library has done. They've made it so that everyone can access it from home with the library card. So parents, if you're struggling and saying, oh, my son's doing this, I don't have time to get down. If you do have internet at home and you have a library card, it's available. If you're unsure how to use it, call us. We can walk you through it over the phone as well. And we do that with a lot of different individuals, not even just from Sheridan County. We may be the only library that's open at a specific time. Other county residents call us as well. So we're willing to help anyone access those information.
And that's fantastic. You know, we're starting a school year, and it's good to know that the library's there and I can access that information from anywhere with Wi-Fi. Now, let's talk about some of the construction. You touched on it quite a bit. What's happening?
So what you're seeing right now is we've had to shift some collections around the library. I know there's been some concerns saying, what did we do with all the items? We did not get rid of anything. We've moved it in such a way so that there's room for expansion, room for growth of those collections. A good example is the audiobooks. We were packed, all shelves packed, playaways, all shelves packed. We couldn't move them to even the branches. They were packed. We don't want to get rid of the items, so we had to move the location within the building. We interfiled all fiction playaways and audios together, and it may be an inconvenience in browsing, but there's room for growth. So we're not going to get rid of stuff. So that's our goal with that. The teen collection was at its capacity. And so we added some more shelving in there as well. And we're now able to double the size. So our goal is not to get rid of items. Our goal is to make it so that it's space for expansion and not look cluttered. But it is going to be different. So be aware of that. There's also going to be expansion in the children's area, the tweens collection. You're going to notice some shelving and stuff been removed from there. It may look not appeasing or appealing to the eyes right at the moment, but the architects are working on the plans. Hopefully it'll go out to bid late September, early October, and then it's going to be a remodel of that area and some new shelving that's going to be built in for that expansion. And then we will put everything back. So it just looks disruptive right now in the children's area, but it's in preparation for the next couple months.
Growth is painful sometimes.
It is.
But to know that, our kids, our tweens and our teens are reading so much that the collections are expanding out farther.
And that's the wonderful thing about authors right now is when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of teen YA type materials, and it just exploded. And that's great, but at the same time, we over the last few years at the Fulmer Library anyways, didn't have the room to grow. So we did it a couple times, added some shelving, but now we really had to. I don't want to eliminate books just because there's no space.
Yeah.
Libraries across the country do that. I don't want to get that route. So we adjusted locations in order to accommodate it.
Cameron, real quick, could you give us your phone number and the address to the website that parents could call?
The library's number 674-8585, and staff will be able to address your questions. And then the website is www.sheridanYOLibrary.org, and that will get you access to our digital resources. The state libraries is GoWyld, GOWYLD.net, and that'll get you some of those resources as well.
Fantastic. Cameron, thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
in
Thank
today.
you.
And we'll get some links up there for you folks to help your kids get some studying done. You've been listening to Public Pulse on 930 KROE, 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
At Eliason Financial, money management isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about dreams and opportunities, and more importantly, family. We'll take time to get to know you. Then we'll develop a unique wealth management plan that works hard, just like you. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online